Hello everybody, let me introduce myself first. Hi, my name is Violeta Anggreni Putri. I'm a student from Migas Vocational High School in Cepu, and I'm gonna presenting my OJT report in PPSDM Migas Cepu. What, where, and why choose PPSDM? What PPSDM is? PPSDM Migas is a company that develops oil and gas human resources. This company is refining a raw material like crude oil from the tip of this earth and water from Bengawan Solo, which is very dirty. These refining activities are aims to make these materials can be used for our life. For the details information about the refining activities will be explained in the next slide. Where PPSDM Migas is? PPSDM Migas is located at Sorogo Street, number 1, Cepu City, Central Java. And why choose PPSDM? PPSDM Migas are provide job training activity for high school and college. It means this company provide all facilities that we need as a job trainer where we do the only job training in here. This is the picture of PPSDM Migas Cepu. And in the next slide, what we do as a job trainer in PPSDM Migas. We do observing and operating. But before do these activities, we have to follow all the rules. 1. We need to get a permission before entering PPSDM Migas, and also before entering the refinery unit, water treatment unit, and HSSE unit. 2. Don't use an electronic thing such as handphone in refinery area. 3. Don't touch anything unattended. 4. Don't run and speak loudly in this place. 5. Use the main PPE such as coverall. It's like this. Safety suits. It's really hard and heavy, and safety helmet. It's really hard too, because in some unit we need extra PPE such as gloves. There's 3 units that I already visited to do the observation and operation in PPSDM. The 3 units is refinery unit, water treatment unit, and HSSE unit. Next slide. Refinery unit. In refinery unit, we do 3 observations. First, observing refinery of crude oil. Refining a crude oil is a process in refinery unit using CDU or crude distillation unit. It aims to get a different oil product by their fraction. This refinery is a primary process. It means it's a first process from all the process of refining crude oil. Before do the observation, we ask for permission and use the main PPE as well, such as coverall, safety shoes, and safety helmet. In here, we observe the refining by looking the equipment in refinery unit and also using a flowchart diagram. For the material is crude oil, tool and equipment, there are heat exchanger, furnace, evaporator, fractionation column C1A, fractionation column C2, stripper column. There's 3 stripper columns C3, C4, and C5, condenser, cooler, and separator. For the product result, there are Pertasol CA, Pertasol CB, Pertasol CC, solar, and residue. Here I take the flowchart diagram like this. SOP. For the SOP, I'm gonna explain you guys about the flow process of this unit. First, pump the feed to the heat exchanger to get a preheat, then flow it to furnace. After that, flow the feed to the evaporator. By their density, the light feed will go up and then the heavy feed will go down. Then flow the feed to the fractionation column. The oil will separate it because their fractions are different. After it, flow the oil to the heat exchanger again to get a pre-cooling. Then cool the oil in cooler. Separate the oil from water and any dirt in separator. Then save the oil in storage tank. Second, observing the cooling water process. Cooling water is a process to recool the water that previously is hot because it had been used in condenser and cooler unit in refinery. This process is using high tower about 6 meters to cooling the water by dropping the water like a rain. When the water drops like a rain, the natural air will make the water cool. First, we ask a permission and then use the main PPE before entering this area. In here, we observe by watching the reel of cooling water and also using a flowchart diagram. For the material, there is hot water. Tool and equipment, there are hot tube, cold tube, cooling tower about 6 meters, and pump. For the product result, there is cold water. SOP. First, hot water from crude oil refinery will flow to the hot tube. After that, pump the hot water to the top of the cooling tower. The water will drop like a rain. The natural air will make the water cold. Then flow again the cooled water to the refinery for the process activities. Third, observing boiler process. Boiler is an equipment that produces steam from water. The steam are indeed for the hot injection process at refinery unit. First, we ask for a permission and use the main PPE. In here, we observe the refining by looking the equipment in boiler process and using a flowchart diagram. For the material, there are water, silica sand for sand filter, resin to soften the water, NaOH to neutralize the pH about 6.5 until 7.8, Na2SO2 to remove the oxygen that contained in water, Na2PO4 to agglomerate the dirt in the water. For tool and equipment, there are sand filter, softener, deaerator, pump, boiler, and accumulator. For the product result, there is steamed air. SOP. First, filter the water by fluid to the sand filter. Then soften the water in softener. After it, save the water in soft water tank. Then flow the water into the aerator to remove the oxygen in water using chemical Na2SO2. Then give a chemical things, then flow it to the boiler. In boiler, the water are in heating process, so the water will turn into an air. Collect the air from water and save it in accumulator. Using a pump, this air can be distributed to another unit who need this steamed air. Now we change into water treatment unit. In here, we only do one observation, that is, observing water treatment process. Water treatment is a process of water from Bengawan Solo River which is really dirty. This process aims to clean the water so the water can be used for the process equipment in PPSDM and can be used too for human resources. In here, we need an extra PPE like gloves to make sure our hand not exposed with some chemicals. This process are aims to get a clean water so it can be used for unit process and for human resources. For the material, there are water from Bengawan Solo, PAC, caprolite or chlorine, tawas, silica sand, and chlor gas. For the tool and equipment, there are YAP tube or a winding tube, gravity tube, sekarang tube, CBA tube, flocculator unit, clarifier unit, industrial water tube, sand filter, and pump. For the product result, there are drinking water, industrial water for refinery unit, and water for HSSE unit. SOP. First, pump the water from Bengawan Solo to the YAP tube for about 60% and to the sekarang tube for 40%. In YAP tube, dip a chemical into the water. Let the water flow and winding by themselves because it's winding like right, left. Then flow it to the gravity tube. After it, flow the water to the sand filter to get a purify process. Give a chlor gas to kill the bacteria, then the water can be distributed for our drinking water. From sekarang tube, pump the water into CPI tube. In here, there's flocculator process or mixing process using tawas. The dirt in water will separate because the tawas. Then flow the water into industrial water tube. The industrial water can be distributed to a refinery unit or to HSSE unit. for the firefighter. And the last but not least is HSSE unit. In here we do operating, that is operating SCPA unit. First, we need a permission before operating this unit, but when we do this operation, we are not required to use a coverall and helm safety like in other areas, just wearing the helmet like what I wear like now. But when we do the real job, that is using this SCPA, we're really required to use all the PPE like coverall, helm safety, and safety shoes. SCBA or self-contained breathing apparatus is a tool for breathing when it's on the dangerous atmosphere area, like on fire or when the air is contaminated with toxic substances. These fresh air are made from filtered and compressed air. The air will packaged in a cylinder. For the SOP, I'm gonna explain you about how to wear this SCBA unit. First of all, open the cylinder's valve to check the air volume. Look at the pressure gauge. If the narrow immediately goes to the green color, it means the air volume in cylinder are full. But when the narrow is still in the red color and the whistle warning keeps whistling, it means the air volume are empty. After check the air volume, wear the SCBA on your back, then tighten or loosen the waist and the shoulder straps. Then use the face mask. Tighten it by pulling the straps in like here, here, and here, and make sure there's no air will come into your face. Pair on the regulator with your face mask in here. After that, take a deep breath from your mouth to let the air come out from cylinder to your mask. Like that. After it, you can breathe normally. Conclusion. After we do this job training in PPSDM, we already know the process activities in PPSDM and also know the flow process in refinery activities. The other conclusion after do this job training is we know how the activities of the worker in some company. It means a lot for me before I'll be the real worker. If you have any question, you can ask to me in comment section. Thank you for your attention.